Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are embarking on a super high-stakes journey right through the absolute epicenter of global manufacturing. I mean, if you've ever walked into a stunning hotel room and just marveled at how perfectly the custom headboard aligns with the bedside tables, the lighting, the architecture, well, you're looking at the result of a massive, heavily orchestrated B2B procurement mission. Procuring hospitality furniture? It's not just shopping. It's this massive global supply chain puzzle. And today we're going to master it by breaking down the 2026 Buyer's Guide to the top hotel furniture manufacturers in China.
Okay, let's dive into this by clearing up a really common misconception right off the bat. Buying furniture for a hospitality project is vastly different and honestly way riskier than just ordering a standard wholesale couch for your living room. With standard wholesale, you're generally looking at off-the-shelf items, basic quality metrics, right? But hospitality procurement is an entirely different beast. We're talking about highly coordinated fixed millwork, perfectly matched custom finishes across completely different materials, and rigorous adherence to strict commercial fire and durability standards.
To truly grasp the gravity of this, just think about the number 500. Imagine, for a second, you're tasked with furnishing a 500-key luxury resort. In a project of that magnitude, one tiny mistake, let's say a wood stain on a nightstand that's just a shade too dark, or maybe a chair joint that isn't commercially reinforced, that doesn't just happen once. No, that single mistake is magnified exponentially across all 500 rooms. The financial and chronological risks are literally staggering. But hey, don't worry, we've got a roadmap to guide you safely through this massive B2B procurement journey. Today, we'll cover 1. The high stakes of sourcing. 2. China's manufacturing hubs. 3. The 2026 manufacturer shortlist. 4. How to vet suppliers. And 5. Perfecting your procurement workflow.
Section 1. The high stakes of sourcing, navigating the complexities. So the term you'll hear constantly in this industry is FF&E, furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Basically, these are the movable assets essential to making a building functional and beautifully designed. Now, in 2026, China's Pearl River Delta absolutely remains the undisputed global hub for FF&E. But here's the real challenge for buyers. If you just search generic B2B directories, you're incredibly likely to end up talking to a middleman trading company rather than a true, capable project factory. So filtering out that noise to find the actual makers, that's going to be your first major hurdle.
Section 2. China's hospitality manufacturing hubs, mapping the epicenters.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it treats the Guangdong province kind of like the Silicon Valley of furniture. It is highly localized. Look at Fushan, specifically the Shunde district. This is the epicenter, famous for these massive industrial parks that handle whole program coordination, including case goods and loose seating. Then you've got Dongguan, which is where you go for precision manufacturing, higher-end finishes, and mixed material processing. Think integrating metal, glass, and specialty veneers. And finally, there's Guangzhou, your powerhouse for custom millwork, extensive cabinetry, and vertically integrated panel furniture. Knowing this geographical map is totally your secret weapon.
Section 3. The 2026 manufacturer shortlist, the heavyweights.
First up on our shortlist is Foshan Yabo Furniture. Located right in the heart of Foshan, Yabo is a heavy hitter specializing in the premium, luxury, and custom hospitality segment. Because they're completely equipped with advanced European machinery, Yabo is your absolute go-to if you're a large developer or a major brand owner requiring totally bespoke solutions and top-tier finishes. Well, assuming you have the budget to match, of course.
Next up, we have HY Hotel Furniture, also out of Foshan. These guys are the masters of providing comprehensive hotel room setups and commercial seating. HY is frequently evaluated by procurement teams specifically for their unique ability to balance cost efficiency with uncompromising commercial-grade durability. So if you're developing a mid-scale to upscale hotel and you need highly reliable OEM services, this is for sure a very strong contender.
Moving over to Guangzhou, we've got Opin Home. Now, while they're globally recognized in the residential cabinetry space, for hospitality they command absolutely massive production lines, capable of executing fixed joinery. If you've got a bulk, large-scale architectural project that requires flawless execution of built-in wardrobes and bathroom vanities, Opin is definitely the one to call.
Heading back to Foshan, we find Sun's Goods. Their absolute specialty? Loose furniture. We're talking about deep manufacturing expertise in upholstery, modular sofas, and commercial seating.
Sun's Goods is the perfect partner for project buyers and wholesalers whose projects are intensely focused on lobby lounging and diverse, highly varied seating arrangements. And rounding out our 2026 shortlist is Ming Sun Group, based over in Guangdong. They're known for their highly structural approach to customized hospitality and commercial furniture solutions. Ming Sun Group's unique capability really lies in how they brilliantly manage the intersection of high-volume factory output while still catering to highly customized, very specific B2B project demands. But hey, a quick reality check on these massive manufacturers. 20 to 50. That is the standard minimum order quantity, or MOQ, in guest rooms. I mean, imagine the absolute hubris of walking onto a factory floor the size of a city block, equipped with multi-million-dollar machinery, and asking them to run custom CAD production for just 3 boutique hotel beds. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Because hotel furniture is highly customized and driven by specific shop drawings, top-tier factories need scale. For smaller boutique jobs, you're going to need to negotiate heavily, or better yet, deploy flexible sourcing agents who can aggregate smaller orders.
Section 4. How to vet suppliers. Running the gauntlet.
Everything in your vetting process revolves around the BOQ, or Bill of Quantities. Think of this document as your ultimate shopping list for this entire mission. It comprehensively details every specific material, part, and labor requirement for your interior space. It's essentially the Bible from which the factory will quote and ultimately build.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because this BOQ actually forms the basis of a literal stress test the factory absolutely must survive. Step 1 is the mock-up room. Before any mass production, the factory builds 1 unit of every single item in your BOQ for a physical inspection of structure, finish, and ergonomics. Turnkey specialists like Volent Fit Out are often brought in right here to ensure spatial planning perfectly aligns before mass manufacturing kicks off. Step 2 is testing their engineering team via detailed CAD shop drawings, specifying joints, veneers, hardware, the whole shebang. And Step 3 is the material compliance check. You've got to verify that composite woods meet international emissions limits and foams meet local commercial fire retardancy standards.
Section 5. Perfecting your procurement workflow. Consolidation. And this brilliantly illustrates the absolute biggest mistake buyers make: splitting their scopes. Look, if you take a fragmented approach, like buying wardrobes from one factory and lounge chairs from another, you're risking a total disaster of mismatched wood stains, finish inconsistencies, and major timeline delays. Instead, you need a unified sourcing workflow. Manufacturers that handle both fixed joinery and loose case goods ensure a cohesive aesthetic. This is exactly why a lot of buyers use specialized procurement partners like FBM Sourcing to do on-the-ground factory audits, manage communications, and consolidate these massive multi-factory orders. Unifying your workflow doesn't just apply to the heavy furniture either. It elevates the entire guest room experience right down to the desktop lighting. A perfect workflow means you consolidate the heavy manufacturing, integrate that specialized fit-out coordination, and directly source vetted commercial-grade decor, like, say, a specific hotel golden metal LED desk lamp, all through one synchronized channel. This guarantees a cohesive aesthetic standard across your entire property. As you orchestrate this global supply chain, you've got a plan for standard lead times. Day 0 kicks off with your CAD shop drawing approval. From there, you're looking at 15 to 25 days for the mock-up phase, getting those first article samples built. Once you inspect and approve that mock-up room, mass production typically takes another 30 to 45 days, depending on the sheer scale and the specific specialized materials used. But you aren't just sitting around waiting blindly during those 45 days. Standard workflows dictate a rigorous, multi-step quality control inspection process before anything ever gets on a boat. Step 1 is that initial mock-up review we discussed. Step 2 is an inline inspection happening directly on the factory floor while raw materials are actually being cut and assembled. And Step 3 is the final pre-shipment inspection, or PSI, done right before the furniture is packaged. Usually third-party QC firms are on site to strictly enforce this. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a thought about where this is all heading. We've seen how complex and high stakes this process is today. But looking ahead, how will the rise of highly bespoke, ultra-customized guest room aesthetics impact these massive global supply chains and lead times in the future? Will manufacturers adapt to smaller MOQs, or will lead times just stretch even further? It's a fascinating evolution to watch. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into hospitality procurement, and keep exploring.